Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today in this video we're going to be doing another scrap mechanic video for you. I know you guys like my scrap mechanic videos because they're the ones that really kind of took my channel off, and everybody seems to really like the videos that I do and the vehicles that I make, and this vehicle is no exception. It is my Marauder, a completely fictional main battle tank that I created myself from scratch. Now, I did create a video before, which was my Marauder. It was the version 1 that I created. It was basically the bare bones prototype of an older tank that I'd created before, and this one is a more updated version of that tank. And as you can see, it's on the lift, because if I take it off the lift, it is going to drop my frames to about 20 to 25 frames a second. I still cannot get it to get any more higher frames. I think it's just the game, and the game is not going to allow me to have perfect frames with it off the lift, which, to be fair, would be amazing. Now, what I'm going to be showing in this video is I'm going to be showing you around the tank. I'm going to try, if you can bear with it, because I can bear with it very well, is I'm going to be taking it off the lift, showing you what the tank can do, maybe drive it. The problem is that I will get stuck in the driver's seat, because obviously the gun mantlet overhangs the driver's compartment, so when you get out, you basically get stuck in the gun mantlet, which isn't good at all. So I can basically just show you the turret, and if I need to, I can take the turret off the tank and then just show you the hull. But the hull isn't really anything different compared to the Marauder first prototype. It's nothing's really different about it. It's technically the same. The only difference is that I put different road wheels on, but that's pretty much the only thing that's similar to the original hull. The turret is modified, and there's some little extras and accessories on the tank now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in, I'm going to show you those features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you up to the front of the tank, the hull and the turret front. So everything is practically the same. You've got the fire extinguisher on the front, you've got your emergency lights on the front, there's also emergency lights on the back, your front headlights, nothing really to write home about on the front of the hull. You have your driver's vision port at the front. He can barely see through that thing. It's not amazing. He doesn't have a lot of armor on the front, but because it's a game, the fact that nothing's really going to stop a projectile anyway, it's just not really a problem. And on the front of the turret, it's different. So what I've done is I've added onto the left upper side of the turret, you can see that there is a vision port. That vision port is for the gunner. It is his standard one-time sight, so he can see out of that. It's not zoomed in at all. He can use that sight to see basically in front of him and his surroundings. I've also changed the gun mantlet, so now the machine gun is now on the right side of the gun when it was on the left-hand side of the gun. And I've moved the gunner's primary sight. It is now to the left of the cannon. Nothing really sort of different about it. It's just that I wanted to kind of change it and make it like an Abrams kind of style sight where it's top left. So you can see, well, you can see the top left of the cannon. And the commander has now got a 50 cal machine gun. So where it used to be, he had nothing, and it was the loader that only had the 50 cal with remote weapon station. He also now has a remote weapon station basically just attached to the camera. It's more of a battle modification. If it was more kind of not needed, it could be taken away. And if the commander didn't need it, it could be taken away. But the 50 cal for the loader still stays. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to basically the sides. I'll go to the back, and then we'll head up into the top of the turret. And then if I feel like it, because it's a pain in the ass, I'll take it off the lift. I'll show you rotation of the turret, elevate and depression of the gun, and I'll show you the inside. So this is the side of the tank, and there's not really anything different. The only thing I've really added is the kind of flares on top, the APS system, the active protection system. But apart from that, it's really kind of the same. I didn't really change anything about the tank. I think the vents on the side, the grills are the same, the smoke grenade launchers are the same, and the side skirts are the same. The road wheels are different on the old one compared to this one, because I prefer these. These are the Stridsfagen road wheels, sprocket and idler wheel. So in that retrospect, there's nothing really different, but I still like how it looks. I'm quite the tank enthusiast, and I really enjoy how this model looks and how it looks in compared to everything else, all the other vehicles that I made. But I'm going to chat less, and we're going to move on to the back. At the back, it's kind of the same story, and I'm going to say that a lot. I'm going to try and bring up things that have already been on an old vehicle that you've seen before. But if anybody's new, I wanted to kind of show them my old vehicle because it's still the same remnant of the old vehicle. But if you haven't seen this tank before, you can now see how I built it and how it all kind of came together. So the emergency lights are the same. You have two red lights. You have a red light when you turn the lights on, and you have a red light when you brake and you reverse the tank. That's the only two red lights we have on the vehicle. You got your back door, your vent system. It opens kind of like an Abrams because you've got a pack in the back where you can have the engine and transmission. It all comes out as a oneer, but because it's Scrap Mechanic, it's basically welded into the vehicle, so it's not really great. If you can kind of see on the back of the turret, you have your 3 jerry cans, your 4 crew backpacks. There's a oil drum or a fuel drum if you wanted it to be. It could be whatever you wanted it to be. When I was in the RTR, we had drums on the back of the tanks, and they could include cam kit and the crew shelter. And as you can see in the top middle, you've got a kind of radar system. It doesn't work, it's just purely kind of like a radar system really, and it's just purely there as a placement to make it look cool, and that's basically it really for the back. There's nothing too specific on the back. The left side of the tank is exactly the same. There's nothing new on the side of the tank, so we'll basically move on to the top of the tank. So I'm on the front of the turret. As you can see, you've got the machine gun. On my right, you have the gunner's 1x vision port, and you've got the 2 machine guns on the top, the commanders and the loaders. On my left, you have the smoke grenade dischargers and the APS system. Nothing too fancy on the front here. It's just, you know, the thing that's going to get hit probably the most, but nothing amazing. So we'll just head on to the top of the turret a bit more. So what I'm going to do really is I'm just going to, instead of staying in place and telling you about the things, I'm going to basically move around. So you've got the commander's hatch and the loader's hatch. You see your little flashing beacon. We call it a winky wonky. It's basically when you use it for training purposes, it is to tell the public and others around you that your gun kit is active. Gun kit meaning that the turret is on, the gun elevation and depression is on, and basically the gun kit is live. You got your 50 cals, lovely. You've got your APS systems on each side. When the tank is dropped, these spread out to 45-degree angles. You can connect them to sensors, but what I haven't tested is if you can shoot at them, or you can shoot a rocket at the vehicle, deploy the flares, and if the rocket will go off somewhere else. I haven't tested that. I want to test it and see if it actually works. If not, they're just going to be a waste of time. But they're there, it's just purely aesthetic, basically. And what we've got here is the blowout panels. These are purely aesthetic. They don't do anything. There's no ammo underneath these. They basically just act as like blowout panels, and they're just fake. They just kind of add to the illusion that there would be blowout panels on the vehicle. And there's your little radar dish that I said about. It's a just little dome. Nothing too amazing. It's just aesthetic, as I said it is. The drums there. You've got your jerry cans there, and you've got your antenna there. And this is the back of the turret. I'll show you the back of the turret. Look at that. Lovely thing, isn't it? Beautiful. And what I'm going to do is take it off the lift. See how that frame rate changed? Not great, is it? It is horrible. And you can see when I turn the camera. That's horrible. That's horrible. So what I can do is I can go into commander's hatch. I like to go into the commander's hatch because the gunner doesn't have WASD to control the turret. He controls the turret with his mouse and has more of a smooth turning rate, but it allows the commander and the gunner to rotate the turret if needs be. So if the gunner needs to be onto a target, the commander can simply traverse the turret. You can also elevate the cannon if he needs to, and depress the cannon if he needs to. So what we can do is we've got our little section here, and he can go into his camera 1, and this is the camera that is the independent camera for the tank. So if I press 3, disengages, and the commander can use his hunter-killer system to traverse. Oh, it doesn't like it when you go too far with the mouse because it gets confused. That's cool, isn't it? If you've watched my Sky Ranger video, you'll notice that this is also on the Sky Ranger because I took it off this tank to put it onto the Sky Ranger. Some things from the Marauder are on the Sky Ranger because it's the same hull. We'll engage it again. Bring the camera back. We have a switch here. That's for the winky wonky. Lovely. That's to show that when you're on training or exercises or whatever, you can tell other units that you have a gun kit active and that the turret can basically traverse. When the gun kit's off, you cannot traverse the turret. We'll turn that off. You have your smoke and flare discharge system. The lag is fucking horrible. But yeah, as you can see, we have a massive smoke screen, and if you needed to, you could get the fuck out. And the flares are really good because you might have rockets coming at you, so you can deploy your smoke and flares at the same time, which could either disorientate the rocket or completely fire it into a different area. So that's the smoke and discharges. And the flares, we've got number 8. That's the 50 cal. I do apologise for the lag. I can't help it. Unless I welded the turret to the hull. But I want to show you how the turret works. You've also got the gun clamp, so the commander can have the gang clamp? The gun clamp, because he can see the gun clamp. And what I'll do is I'll quickly show you. We can put the turret into the gun clamp. Just like this. You need to be very careful. You need to elevate the gun a bit. Need to elevate the gun a bit. It's probably not going to let me elevate the gun. It's not going to let me, is it? No, it's got an issue. It's just not going to let me. But you can elevate the gun and put it in the clamp, and then the turret is locked. But I can't show that because it's not going to let me. Even though I could. Can't elevate it any fucking higher for some reason. The problem I have with the game is you can have a system like the oh, there we go. Right, that might help. And then it's probably not going to come back down, is it? No, it's locked. Right, that's great. Anyway, we'll move on. So, yeah, you've got your 360-degree rotation, which is fantastic if you've got a main battle tank. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? And he's also got the gunner sight. So this is what the gunner sees, not the cannon in the air, but this is what the gunner sees and also what the commander sees. So the commander sees exactly what the gunner sees. It's not like it's two different perspectives, it's the same perspective. The only thing I had to do was put two cameras basically one behind the other, but they see the same thing. And this is pretty much the commander seat, nothing else. So this is inside the turret. You've got your loader and the gunner seat and the breech. I will move on to the loader seat, and then I'll move on to the gunner seat for you. Quick succession. Here you go. This is the loader seat, so this is where he would sit. He has a ready rack behind him, and you would have rounds basically jotted around the vehicle. I can't really hide them anywhere. This is the breech, so he would just load rounds in all day. He also has his remote weapon station, which is here. I will show you on the outside of the tank. So you can also disengage, and it becomes a remote weapon station. Just like that. I think this is cooler than basically just having a machine gun on his hatch, and then he basically has to kind of stand up and use it, where in this he can basically be inside the vehicle and with a left click and fire the cannon. Very slow, I do apologise. And then he can put his hatch down. Just like that. It's not going to let me open the hatch, is it? No, it's going to break. Of course it is. Right, we'll go into the gunner seat. It does that, and it's so fucking annoying. It basically just, the hatch glitches and you can't get out. So I've had to go into the gunner seat. So in the gunner seat, it's very similar. There's nothing too amazing. I'm going to try and get the gun down. Let's go into that. Okay, so here's the primary sight for the gunner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the turret. I can turn the turret with my mouse. I want to try and bring the cannon down, but I think it's not going to let me. No, it's not. We'll go into the gun view. No, I think the gun is broken. Great. Cool. That's a good thing, isn't it? That does not help my situation at all. So the gun's broken. I can't help with that. But what I can do is I can still fire main armament. There you go. It's a bit delayed. So you got the main armament, and then inside you got the breech. The breech has an animation where it fires, I think it's, what's the American ammo? I think it's heat, really. I can't remember what the round's called, but in the British Challenger, we fire Hesh and Fin and Smoke, DST, all that good stuff. And then you have your machine gun. Absolutely amazing. And then if you wanted to, you could turn the turret. Trying to bring the gun down. It does not want to let me bring the gun down. But what I can do is I can go into this view, try and bring the turret round, but I think it's stuck. I think the turret is stuck, which is great. Yeah, it's been a pain in the ass. Well, there's nothing I can really do about that, to be honest. It's stuck. Great. This thing is a piece of shit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically put the tank back on the ramp and we'll wrap the video up because it's going to get stuck anyway because I tried to get it into the gun clamp. So guys, that was the Marauder version 2, my most up-to-date main battle tank I think I have in the game. I think the only thing that comes close to the most updated tank I have is things like the Churchill E100 and I think my Jagdpanzer E100. I think they're pretty close to the most updated tanks I have. But for modern tank, I think this is the most modern tank I have. I have other vehicles with more advanced turrets, but they're a bit finicky because I had to redesign the hull, basically the engine deck, to allow the turret to fully traverse. Otherwise, the armor would get caught in the engine deck, and I didn't want that. Otherwise, you just have a tank destroyer, basically, and you don't want that. So this is my most up-to-date main battle tank. I've got variants of it where it doesn't have the side skirts, or it's, you know, just been used for other hulls. I need to create a craft variant, so a recovery vehicle with a bulldozer blade and a crane and all that stuff, because obviously a main battle tank will need that kind of vehicle to help it if it gets stuck in any situation. But I do hope you enjoy this video because I just want to show this tank off, because trying to show it anywhere else is a pain in the ass. Trying to put it on Steam, showing it to friends, like I love this tank. Like, I'm in love with it, not because I built it, because that would be very kind of self-fulfilling of me to do that, but I think that it is a beautiful tank, and people have built better tanks, don't get me wrong, they've built better tanks, but they've been able to kind of glitch weld parts onto the vehicles that they build. I can't do that, so everything that you see has had to been put on properly because I can't weld stuff like that. But I'm going to stop rambling, and I do hope you enjoyed. If you've noticed lately that I've lost all my videos, there was a horrible issue that I had on Sunday morning, and lost all of those videos. So I've had to upload my most recent ones that I still had on my drive, and I'm just basically just going to go and build back up what I did basically before, and that you guys have been loving the videos I've been making so far. And even though they're not popular, I just love making videos for you, and I do hope that you do love scrap mechanic videos as much as I do, because I love building tanks and I love building vehicles, miniature vehicles, whatever. I love showing them to you. And if you have any suggestions of what I could build in the future, I have a few vehicles that I want to show you. They're still in the works, but they will be ready soon. If you do love this kind of content, showing off vehicles like I did before, like that top 10 video that I built, I think it was 10 vehicles, and that got to about 6k views. That was my most viewed video, and it was a scrap mechanic video. So if you do like it, please let me know. I'd love the feedback. A like is always appreciated, but I do love the feedback, even if it is negative. But like, this tank's bad, this is what could be done better. I'd love that, because then it shows that you guys are active and want to see me improve my vehicles. But thank you very much, guys. If you did enjoy it, please like it and comment. I do really appreciate it. I do. Thank you guys so much for watching this mess of a video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.